Hi, my name is Nitzan Ziv, Vice President of Threat Prevention at Checkpoint. And thank you for joining me here today to hear about the 3 key principles for securing the remote workforce. At the start of 2020, very few people would have been able to predict the extreme events that unfolded with the outbreak of the coronavirus. The global pandemic has brought on unprecedented changes in all of our lives and has completely transformed our working culture. Companies of all sizes and across every industry have had to make the major shift to working almost exclusively from home. You've probably heard how Facebook expects half of its workforce to keep working remotely over the next 5 to 10 years, and how Twitter has told its staff that they can work from home forever if they wish. No doubt, this is a new model that's different from what we're used to, and it's here to stay. But, as we all know, moving to this model is not so simple. To explain, while digital transformation and remote accessibility have been increasingly adopted over the past decade, there were very few organizations that were prepared to go full remote and do so practically overnight. As we heard from Maya in the previous episode, threat actors have been taking advantage of these rapid and widespread changes, which have left organizations more vulnerable than ever to cyber attacks. And here's a real-life story about this phenomenon. It is about a financial organization that suffered a crippling attack just 2 months ago. And this attack, which ended up in a data breach, shut down most of the company's IT infrastructure for 2 whole days. The CISO called the Checkpoint incident response team to get the desperately needed help. Our team took a swift and effective action. They stopped the attack, executed remediation, and an investigation was launched. It turns out that what started as a successful spear phishing attack against Office 365 mailboxes of several employees led to a lateral movement of the malware inside the organization. The malware was transferred from one employee's endpoint to another across many workstations and mobile devices. Later on, this malware also infected critical systems and exfiltrated sensitive business data to a malicious external server. And this went on for days. So, what went wrong in this story? Employees are one of the organization's security weakest links, especially now, as they are working from home. Simply more mistakes happen. As we all work from home, our security awareness goes down. It is not the same as we used to do inside the corporate perimeter. And over the past few months, we at Checkpoint have been working closely with security teams from hundreds of organizations of all sizes and industries, helping them adapt to this new reality of perimeter-less organization. Over the next 6 episodes of this video series, we'll be sharing all of the know-how, knowledge, and best practices that we've gained over the past months to help you keep your remote workforce secure so you can significantly improve your organization's security posture. Today, I'd like to start with 3 principles that are a must for securing the remote workforce. So let's take a closer look on principle number 1, complete security for remote workforce. As the saying goes, it takes only one match to set the forest on fire. The same goes for cyber attacks. That is why it is crucial to eliminate potential security gaps with a complete 360-degree protection for the remote workforce. This means that employees should be protected from all imminent threats and across every platform, including endpoints, mobile devices, cloud emails such as Office 365 and G Suite, and collaboration apps such as SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, Google Drive, and many others that we are using on a day-to-day basis. Being complete also means being able to secure the remote workforce against 3 main threat vectors. Threat vector number 1 is, of course, phishing. Phishing is a big problem. More than 80% of breaches involve the use of credentials that were lost or stolen via phishing. Threat vector number 2 is malware. At best, antivirus software blocks only 43% of the malware strains that are currently in the wild, and this is super important. This means that most of the variants can still go into your network. In absolute number, just to give you a glimpse of the idea, we're talking about 8,500 unknown 0 days per day. This is a huge number. This is why your malware protection should be able to prevent known and unknown malware. Threat vector number 3 is data leakage. Even though data leakage is not an attack per se, it is a huge threat. Employees can unintentionally, or sometimes even intentionally, leak sensitive data outside of the organization. This is where data protection comes into play. Data protection should be deployed on the endpoint, on mobile devices, cloud email, and productivity suite. Principle number 2 is prevention first strategy. You want to be able to prevent attacks before they happen and not just detect them. This is super critical. This is one of the most effective ways to avoid financially devastating data breach. Traditional security solutions that use signatures and rule-based analysis are focused only on detecting the threats. What we've learned is that in order to win the cybersecurity battle, a prevention-first approach is needed and can be accomplished with 3 main principles. Implementing real-time threat intelligence. For the prevention-first strategy to work, threat emulation verdict needs to be reached fast. Towards this end, real-time threat intelligence can quickly determine if a file or a link has already been deemed malicious. Threat intelligence, collected from hundreds of millions of sensors deployed on various assets, such as endpoint devices and networks, can be shared in real time to block the newest attacks. Next, we need AI-based threat prevention technology. When indicator of compromise, that is IOC, do not exist for a suspicious email or file, organization can vet risky documents and messages using the power of data science. Because of the velocity of malware and phishing evolution, there is an increasing number of devices and technology that need protection, and a huge amount of data to process. All that combined makes it impossible for human-created models to provide comprehensive, up-to-date protection. This is why we need AI, which can analyze millions of parameters like no human being can. What we also need is consolidation. Let me explain. It is better if you combine the power of shared threat intelligence and AI with a security architecture that uniformly prevents attacks across all vectors. Say an employee receives an email on the mobile device that contains a link. When the link is clicked, the shared threat intelligence begins working in the background in milliseconds. The URL undergoes payload path and domain analysis to determine whether it is safe. It turns out that the link on the employee's smartphone was malicious and instantly blocked, preventing the employee from accessing the website. The threat data is then immediately shared across the entire IT environment. Moving on to principle number 3, friendly to users and admin. Today, more than ever, we need to be agile and act swiftly. We need to be able to secure employees while they are browsing the web or downloading emails attachments without impacting the user's experience and productivity. That is why it is crucial to use sandboxing and content disarm and reconstruction, aka CDR technologies, that provide users with malware-free files in real time. So while every aspect of the file is examined to ensure it is not a delivery vehicle for malware, the users receive a sanitized version of the file within seconds. We also need a solution to be plug and play for it to be user-friendly. That is, we need to be able to quickly deploy and manage all security protections from one centralized cloud-based unified console that makes it all seamless and efficient. we also need full flexibility to support our organization needs. The security stack should work with existing environment. It should support old workstation and mobile devices operating system and existing environments. And no less important, the solution should offer a flexible deployment model, both on-prem and cloud-based, to support specific vertical compliance requirements and privacy concerns. Again, also here, consolidation plays a major role. Without a consolidated solution, companies need a long list of security tools to address all possible attack vectors. This approach can be needlessly complex, expensive, and inefficient. The following chart shows the number of security tools needed to monitor just 9 attack vectors for a malicious file. So to summarize, securing the remote workforce effectively rests on 3 main pillars. Number 1, providing complete protection for every endpoint, mobile, cloud email, and productivity suite. Number 2, being prevention first. And number 3, being friendly to both users and admin. Stick around to watch the next 6 episodes in our series and learn how you can secure the remote workforce in the new normal.